Hi, welcome back to our channel. And today you guys are still with me, Muhammad Haikal, and also with me is Muhammad Saiful Adham and Amir Haikal. And today we will talk about automotive brake system. And before we talk more uh, about features in automotive brake and the pros and cons, today we will talk about before that we will talk about a little bit history and timeline in automotive brake system. So first one is from 1895, which is the first ever hydraulic brake was invented by Malcolm Lockheed. But after that was created by, I mean, the first ever hydraulic brake was patented by Malcolm Lockheed and was invented by Hugo Meyers in Germany in 1895, but it didn't catch on in the industry. So in 1902, which is the first ever disc brake was created by Frederick Wilhelm Lanchester, and the first ever drum brake was created by Louis Renault. In mid 20th century, this brake was become popular after a few decades a few years later in 1950 century. This brake and this brake and hydraulic function was this brake and hydraulic function brake was created by Chrysler Imperial. So this this brake function, I mean this brake system is still used until today. And after a few years later, in 1969, anti-brake system, anti-lock braking system or industry, and it's still used until today. So we will jump to another part, which is current technology in braking system. And in this part, we will give to Sir Amir to talk about it. So Sir Amir, please.
Right, thank you, Michael, for briefly explaining about the history of the braking system in automotive. So my part, I'll be discussing about the current technologies that has been used for braking system in the automotive industry, as well as we're comparing we're going to have a comparative among each of the system with its advantages and disadvantages. So let's start with so here I'll be discussing four main technologies, which is the anti-braking system, traction control system, electronic brake force distribution, and electronic stability control. Right, let's start with the anti-lock braking system. Can you move on to the first slide? Right. Okay, cool. So what is ABS? So ABS is from what Haikala said, it was introduced in 1969, and now is a compulsory braking system that is found in most modern cars ever since 2012. Right. So what is this braking system all about? What is ABS? So ABS is a braking system that helps is a safety anti-skid braking method, meaning that it helps cars brake in very very snowy or very uh, skiddy situations where the car could have a hard time to brake, right? So meaning this helps the car, as you can see from the diagram here, right? So this is what ABS at the diagram here with ABS and without ABS. So when you have ABS helps you stop before the point of the incident and helps you maneuver away from it. However, if you don't have ABS on, there's a high chance that the driver may brake later and make the tires skid and cause a very bad casualties in and outside the car. So that's basically what anti-lock braking system is. right? Can we go on to the next? Right. So next is traction control. So traction control is an active safety feature that helps to keep the car's grip during the tires on the road in slippery or dangerous conditions. Right. So when we talk about ABS is basically a function to stop the car in 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 slippery or dangerous situation. However, traction control helps the car maneuver, steer in treacherous and slippery conditions, right? So you can so meaning that this if traction control is not on or applied in cars, there's a high chance when you are in cornering in slippery or dangerous situation, or not even in those conditions itself, there's a high chance that the driver uh may um may experience skidding, like oversteering or understeering, right? So we don't want that to happen. So traction control helps keep the tires um in grip, have a greater grip on the road, right? And uh limit the tires wheel spinning on the road, so make it so it'll be safer for you to drive on the road. Okay, next. Okay, so electronic stability control. So electronic stability control is a computer control individual while braking to help the driver in retaining vehicle control in hazardous driving scenarios. So it's similarly like traction control, but it's not completely the same, because in electronic stability control, you have a computer controlled uh, computer controlled system that helps you brake during corners, right? Traction control is basically it doesn't have a computer assisted to help you brake during corners, but ESC has a computer, so it helps you help the driver with those who are inexperienced, who doesn't know how to corner well, helps cornering better. So to avoid any understeering or oversteering, as you can see at the diagram below there. Next. Okay, so next is electronic brake force distributor, EBD, and I find this the most very interesting braking system out of all the four, because basically it's like ABS, but it's a bit different in a way that it as the name itself, electronic brake force distributor, it helps it is it helps it helps the car brake by distributing different forces on the wheel, right? Because when you're on the road, when you're driving, the tires are spinning in different speeds, right? So when you stop, it also have if you stop, if you just use normal braking without EBD or EBS, it has different speeds when it stops, right? So when you have electronic brake force distributor, it helps the car distribute all four wheels to brake accordingly to stop at uh at at parts where they are uh that are dangerous and in slippery conditions, right? And also it helps the car uh uh I mean it helps the car not to lose control while driving and braking at the same time, right? Okay, now we look at the advantages and disadvantages of ABS, of electron anti-brake system, traction control, electronic stability control, and electronic brake force distributor. All right, let's go to ABS first. So ABS is really, it helps drivers to the main advantage, like I said previously in the first slide, that I explained about ABS, it helps the car stop or helps the car brake in slippery situation and prevents any lockup or skidding happening, right? Because ABS, uh, given in slippery conditions, it will assist the driver to stop on ice, so on on any slippery conditions, right? So that the driver has perfect control of the vehicle um and can drive safely, uh even though they have to brake at very even though they have to brake at those situations, right? And not only that, the ABS system is also integrated with with traction control. So that means that it's a package. It's a two-in-one package. Okay, so meaning it helps it helps manufacturers distribute safer vehicles on the car. However, the disadvantage about ABS is that it's a very delicate system. It doesn't have, it's not computer, it cannot generate the scenario well at times, right? So sometimes um sometimes the brake sensors may go on even uh if it's not in situation, or it may misjudge the situation. So that is a very a precaution when it comes to ABS. And not only that, uh sometimes it doesn't ensure ideal braking times, because ABS is, again, it's not computed it's not computed generally. So sometimes the system itself can break at different times, at different point, which could cause bigger problems and bigger casualties. Next. Okay, now when we look about the electronic stability control, okay, so um, so technically it's like traction control but better, because it has it's compute yeah, it runs on the computer, right? Um, all right, so electronic stability control, the advantages is that it automatically helps helps uh create better traction at corners, right? Without any human intervention, and applies brakes on the individual wheels, right? So meaning, let's say you want to corner left or right at the highway, or um at at a jalan kampung, right? It's easier for the individual. It applies braking force without the driver's intervention. Okay, so that creates better steering uh steering traction. And again, like traction control, it prevents the car from skidding. But the main thing here is that uh, with ESC, it helps the car control better in emergencies where you try to steer hard or brake hard. So this happens at times uh, when I guess you are speeding on the highway, you're speeding on the road, and then you saw something in front and you have limited time to brake, right? So this helps the driver maintain full control window in those scenarios. However, when it comes to the disadvantages, right? Because because you are braking, so meaning you are slowing down. So when you want to, if you are racing or you are trying to go at fast at corners, it's difficult to speed up the corner, because when it automatically reduces the speed in cornerings, right? Again, like ABS, sometimes it does do unnecessary interventions, um, unnecessary interventions. So meaning it could cause, so it doesn't have a good algorithm in detecting good braking points, and it could lead to complacent driver behavior on the road. Next. So traction control. So we just discussed about ESC, but now let's talk about traction control. So the main purpose of traction control at the end of the day, right, is to make sure that the car does not slip in slippery conditions, and it has better traction when riding in those situations, right? So it's just similar like the ESC in terms of advantages. It's just that it's not computer generated. However, when it comes to traction control, um, it's not uh it's it's only used as, its main purpose is usually on skiddy situations, in dangerous situations where there's a lot of oil, a lot of ice, a lot of mud, right? And usually too oftenly you can wear off the brakes on the components, right? And then we go to the last one. Okay, so the electronic brake force distributor. So again, uh it helps reduce braking distance compared to ABS. ABS is that the driver has to intervene and brake. However, when it comes to electronic force distributor, it helps applied, it helps to drivers, when the driver brakes, it helps to distribute force at each side of the wheel so it can brake even faster and reduce the braking distance, right? So it helps cars behave stably when doing corners. Um, so and not only that, it helps depend less the nature of deceleration is less dependent on the load of the car, meaning that it's very good for commercial cars, production cars that like families who are driving with big loads, they're able to reduce the braking distance. That's very good. And then the set of conditions under which a skid may occur during braking is minimized. Same thing like ABS. However, when it comes to the disadvantages, I think it's also similar with we can see a common trend here is that uh, it doesn't have a very good algorithm, meaning when it comes to at a certain breaking point, it doesn't break at the right moment. It depends, right? Um, right. Uh, so not only that, it can create problem with the chassis. The system is not perfect on uh at slippery slopes, so it still automatically shuts off in such conditions at low speed. So that's the comparative between all of the four systems. There are some great, of course, these systems are built for safer driving, but in the end, there's still a long way to go when it comes to creating a better uh, safety method in braking and enhancing the performance of the car. So that's basically my part. Thank you.
Thank you to Syed Amir for giving about the features in today and the advantage and disadvantage. So for new and future technology automotive braking system, we will give to Saiful Adham to talk about it and also give a conclusion about what are we talking today. So Saiful Adham, please, thank you.
Right. New and the technology tracking system. New in tracking system brake by wire. Uh, it's increasingly common brake and this system intend to decrease the use and hydraulic system in brake by wire braking performance has been enhanced significantly, and there's better energy efficiency due to braking system, which it improve the structure other function brake system. Other than that, brake by wire system use gate and sensor direct transfer pedal force to the wheel brake. Uh, Wheel brake disc without the use of hydraulic force transfer system. The system provides dynamic brake controllability, auto brake control, uh, and helps prevent issues with hydraulic system in conventional brake system. Slide. The advantages of brake by wire system. Firstly, this new and future brake system help to slow the car in process called regenerative braking. Uh, Motor in this brake system serve as a temporary generator by capturing the motion-based energy of the vehicle and storing it as electricity in the battery. Uh, for this braking system is forceful stops. The conventional brake pads and brake discs are still required in this uh, brake by wire system, but it makes it simpler for engineer to smoothly combine the brake force of the two variables. Brake by wire system is completely silent and free of the vibration usually felt through the brake pedal and associated with anti-lock brakes because there are no mechanical parts. Uh, it also takes less physical space, which is important factor during how it tight and how tight engine compartment have become. And since there's no corrosive brake fluid involved, brake-by-wire system is considered less damaging to the environment. Finally, brake-by-wire system have lower weight uh, vehicle and it need for electrical power instead of mechanical. So this braking system now in hybrid and brake cars. So for the conclusion of brake wire system, conclusion for brake system, the evolution of complex subsystem in the automotive industry is a sequence that may be seen in the story of brake system in cars. For many years, hydraulic brake system has been used in automotive industry, and in long-term view, brake-by-wire system here will be fully integrated into vehicle in dynamic control algorithm. Brake-wire system has increased of active control during the braking process compared to conventional braking system. Uh, the this brake-wire system is more efficiency, energy saving, responsive structure, and aims at braking through the dynamic response compared to the traditional brake system, hydraulic others. That's all from us.